Here now. It's time. We're back. We're live. It is indeed March 5th, 2026. You know what I haven't done yet? I haven't looked up fun and interesting facts for the day. So we better do that for the show. Got to look it up. Anyways, thank you for joining us here on the Ignition News. We are your source for what's important for you to know about what's happening in your country and around the world in order to give you the information that you need to protect your democracy, build your community without the amygdala hijack, and hopefully without the increasing censorship that we're seeing in mainstream media. Today is March 5th. I keep wanting to say March 6th. I don't know why, but let's see. So today on this day, 80 years ago, Winston Churchill delivered his Iron Curtain speech. It's often remembered for that term, coining the term Iron Curtain. The Boston Massacre happened today in 1770. Let's see what else. The Getting No Rich in Congress Act is being circulated by none other than Bernie Sanders. So that's fun. And then what else? I mean, I guess that's it. We got some kind of news happening over here on the feed. Whoa, did we have breaking news on this? Oh, look at this. We got some breaking news. Sandy, you got me all flustered. Okay. Yeah, so all right. So someone on the live, the live, no way. Someone just announced this. What a mess of a show we've got going on. Let's verify this. News. I don't see an actual source on this. Let me get this information and we'll get back to you on this. Wow, I'm a little bit flummoxed. It's okay. That's why we'll do it live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ignition News. We're tracking down a story real quick about Kristi Noem. So we'll get back to that as it develops. Welcome back, by the way. It is March 5th, and the country is burning on multiple fronts today. We have a war being fought in multiple places. We have a Homeland Security caught with her hand in the taxpayer cookie jar, unable to explain a $143 million contract. We have a decorated Marine veteran sitting in a hospital right now with his arm broken by a United States senator. And now we're asking out loud, is the Israeli-American alliance actually worth it anymore? Let's get into it. All right, we're going to track this story down live. This is too much. To let slide. Kristi Noem fired. I'm going to look it up on Threads. There's the good thing is on the podcast, I can just edit out my pauses, so I'll just stop talking. Come on. Okay, that is live. That's breaking live news. Way to go, Sandy. This is direct from the President of the United States. Trump has, in fact, fired Kristi Noem. This is live breaking news just from Sandy. Thank you very much on the feed. See, that's why you got to tune into the show. You can literally participate in the Ignition News. One of our very loyal community members just broke this story that directly comes from the President of the United States. The orange dictator says, I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, will be moving on to Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. We are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. So there you go, everybody. That is incredible breaking news. That's absolutely stunning breaking news. Way to go, Sandy. Yeah, that's wild. Kristi Noem, DHS Barbie, has been fired. You know, I've been saying that was going to happen. And here's the thing that should be a lesson to the rest of you that are capitulating to this regime. When Trump is done with you, he is done with you. Okay, so Kristi Noem, good luck getting your pardon. Now that you've been fired, do you think you're going to get a pardon for what you did in the deaths of Alex Preddy and Renee Good? Do you think you're going to get a pardon for what you did with Venezuela, for what you did with El Salvador, CCOT? Do you think anyone? No. He's a petty little man. He's a selfish, petty man. And you made him look bad yesterday in Congress when you had to go and talk yesterday about we're just scrapping the show. We're scrapping the show. You made him look bad. That's the greatest sin of all. In this government, in this country, the greatest sin is not do you perform your job well? It's do you make the president look bad? And if you make the president look bad, as you did, Kristi Noem, as you definitely did yesterday with your $143 million corrupt contract, with your blundering of FEMA, with your blundering of everything that's happened with ICE, the fact that you fired a Coast Guard pilot for losing your binky. And guess what? This is a vindictive man in that presidential Oval Office. This is not someone who values loyalty to you. He values only loyalty to himself. And you might have thought you were going to get pardons for everything that you did. Alex Preddy, Renee Good, for the corruption that it appears that you're in the center of. And it does appear that Kristi Noem is in the middle of a massive multi-million-dollar corruption scheme. She has this contract for her television commercials where she's filming herself sitting on top of a horse while the government was shut down in South Dakota by Mount Rushmore. Millions of dollars of taxpayer money going to a company that was founded only 8 days before the contract was awarded, firing the Coast Guard pilot because of her binky. I'm willing to bet that the president does not give Kristi Noem a pardon. And so maybe the rest of you should think about that. Maybe the rest of you committing these atrocities against the American people or these war crimes, whether that is in Venezuela or Iran or supporting the war crimes in Gaza, maybe you should consider what happens when this vindictive man decides that he is done with you. And let's be clear. I think Kristi Noem has committed financial crimes. This is my opinion. I think Kristi Noem has committed human rights violations with what she did with CCOT. This is my opinion. I mean, it seems pretty factual to me, but you know how it is. The lawyers want you to say it's your opinion so they can't sue you. She's also a public figure, so I can also say, go fuck you, Kristi Noem. You're a fucking asshole. Number 3, I mean, I could go on and on and on. But that's wild. I do not feel bad for Kristi Noem. She's done. Her career's done. It's done. Epic. Amazing. And after she we got flagged on TikTok. We got tagged we got flagged on TikTok. Oh, we got 3 violations on TikTok. I just got 3 violations back to back on TikTok. Well, be sure to share the show, everybody. That's how it goes. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Let's get into the show. Oh, some little fragile baby bitch was sitting there.
Oh, you made fun of Kristi Noem. Oh, the president liked Kristi Noem for a little bit, so I had to like Kristi Noem. She hates the people I hate. She doesn't like brown people. Oh, I'm going to click report on TikTok. Oh.
Jesus Christ, you people are so fragile. That's why nobody's afraid of you, because you're so fucking fragile. God, you can't handle anything. Let's get into the next story. Operation Epic Fury. We're just like really behind schedule, but that's okay. The price tag on Operation Epic Fury is purportedly $1 billion per day. That was just by doing some rough math. Yesterday on the show, I talked to you how about we've lost $2 billion in military hardware in the last 5 days alone. So we're talking about $1 billion a day, and in a month that would cost what it costs to strip healthcare away from 2 million people. While American families are paying more and more at the pump and losing their health care, liquefied natural gas companies are sitting on what analysts could predict could be $20 billion worth of profits. The Strait of Hormuz closes and LNG giants print money. Energy companies donated heavily to this administration, so connect the dots yourself. Rising gas prices, conflict in the Middle East, and here we go. This war has no authorization from Congress. It has no defined endpoint. The White House press secretary said this week that the United States bombed Iran based on a feeling that Trump had on an imminent attack. And here we are. Story number 2. Welcome to the Ignition News, by the way. Story number 2 is about Kristi Noem's disastrous testimony to Congress yesterday. But now we know that Kristi Noem got fired. And now we know that some little babies on TikTok love Kristi Noem, the dog shooter, which is wild. But it does get worse. The company that Kristi Noem awarded her television commercial contract, Safe America Media, was incorporated in Delaware 8 days before it won a $143 million no-bid contract. No track record, no history, but it does share an address with a property owned by a veteran Republican operative named Michael McElwain. The same company, a Louisiana-based People Who Think, received $77 million. And a subcontractor, the strategy group, is run by the husband of Noem's former DHS spokesperson, Tricia McLaughlin. So you have corruption, war crimes, human rights crimes, and now, as some orange dictator once said, you fired. You fired. Welcome to the Ignition News, everyone. I think it's important for us to remind you that you need to follow us on other platforms. Today is a very good reminder. I can't believe the live is actually still up, but I got 3 simultaneous back-to-back warnings on TikTok, which is insane. So do follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Substack, YouTube, all of your favorite platforms, because we live in an era when the media is being suppressed, when information is being held from us. And since we're getting violations left and right, let's just go ahead and go right into story number 3. It is time to end the Israeli-American alliance. This story is actually one that got picked up by American Prospect today. I read through it. I have to say I could not possibly agree more. The evidence for this premise was, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Israel collects tens of billions of dollars in American subsidies, openly meddles in American politics, treats the American military as its personal intervention force, receives the free use of the American veto at the United Nations, and in return, the United States gets its international reputation degraded, and its sons and daughters are sent to war. And the evidence for this premise for this war was, at part, driven by Israeli pressure rather than American strategic interests. Secretary of State Marco Rubio admitted on camera that the United States knew Israel was going to strike Iran and that this would potentially trigger attacks on American forces. Netanyahu himself told the world he had been waiting 40 years for this strike. This is not a partnership of equals. This is a client state that has leverage over the United States of America. Rubio later tried to walk back that claim, claiming he had not said what the video clearly shows him saying, and that tells you everything about this administration's case for war. From a pure, quote, America First standpoint, which this show has always argued is different from the MAGA version of that phrase, this alliance costs this country real money, real lives, and real standing in the world. Of course, you even have Gavin Newsom, whether he means it or not, now publicly calling Israel an apartheid state and suggesting that subsidies be cut off. That is how dramatically public sentiment has shifted at the elite political level. So we entered into a war that's costing us $1 billion a day. It will cost in 30 days what it costs to take away healthcare from 2 million Americans, while the citizens of Israel have universal healthcare, have universal education, have a beautiful public infrastructure. When their buildings are, under assault from Iran, as what happened in the 12-day war, we have sent $300 billion in aid. That aid also provides for rebuilding that infrastructure. And let me be very clear with you, when people's homes are destroyed, that's a totally separate conversation. But I think it's a misnomer to say somehow that we've only provided $300 billion in aid to Israel. We have provided $8 trillion in aid to Israel. The premise of the Iraq War, the action in Afghanistan, those were largely influenced by conversations from Benjamin Netanyahu. We have been fighting wars in the Middle East for oil and for Israel for too long. The total cost to America, both in dollars, American lives, and lives of innocent people, is too much. And when someone like Gavin Newsom says, we need to cut off aid to Israel, what that actually tells you is that the American political class is actually 3 steps behind where we should actually be. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. He participated actively in structuring a genocide. That genocide killed thousands of children. He is a war criminal. Benjamin Netanyahu is subject to arrest by the IJC and the ICC. He should be arrested. He should face trial for killing children in a genocide, for killing innocent people in a genocide. Never again was supposed to mean never again for everyone. What a wild day of breaking news. It's kind of hard to ignore the fact that we are accelerating. We are in the liminal space between dictatorship and a fragile democracy. And the linchpin of that fragility seems to be whether or not this war goes one way or the other way. What happens with our elections? What happens with our infrastructure? What happens with our healthcare, our jobs? We are indeed in the liminal space between democracy and dictatorship. We're kind of stuck in a foggy dream. Are we going to wake from this? Are we going to wake ourselves from this? Well, it is harder to see straight for the country of America when we are constantly viewing foreign policy, international policy, monetary policy, and political courage through the lens of Israel. We need to put our own glasses on so that we can see clearly. But we're constantly being told to look the other way, to cater to and to reflect on the needs of an entirely different country. And to be very clear with you, not all of America's problems are Israel. That is not at all what I am saying. Right now, our country is circling the drain. Our infrastructure, our safety, our international safety, our election systems, and most importantly of all, our faith and trust in each other. Social media, algorithms, bias, they have turned our brains into mush. And we have failed to see through all of this for the last, you could pick whatever period of time you want, 15 years, 40 years, whatever you want. We have failed to see how quickly they have turned us against each other. Meanwhile, we are more at risk, we are less educated, we have less money, less resources, our house costs more, our food costs more, our car insurance costs more, if you have car insurance. Our policing systems are failing. We're being surveilled, both with our own technology and with government technology. Everywhere you go, you're constantly being watched. You can go into a Walmart now and pay cash, and when you walk out, you get a text message about the item that you bought. Why? Because we live in 1984, a massive surveillance state. And where was most of that technology funded, created, and developed? Well, a lot of it was developed in Gaza and tested in Gaza and used in Gaza against children and innocent men and women. And the boomerang of empire is sweeping back to us now. I want to be very clear. Again, one last time. The problems of the United States do not rest solely on the state of Israel. But our politicians have been capitulated into apparently thinking so. Because when so much is wrong with this country, with our borders, with our streets, with our roads, and our politicians are unable to do something as simple as not give the president more power to go to an illegal war in Iran, as the Senate just did yesterday, when it takes enormous political force from the streets to finally get people to start saying, I'm not going to take AIPAC money, or I'm not going to, or there should be no more military aid to Israel. That's not the current state of mind. That was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago for most people. We are drowning. We are drowning, and we're throwing other countries a life raft. And the solution, of course, is not to be angry. It's to get organized. Organize, organize, organize. We have forgotten the collective power of we, because we have a man in the White House whose only focus is me. But don't forget this. Don't forget that when you vote, where you organize, when you find people at your job or your community or your church or your neighborhood, you turn me into we. And the political force of our organizing is just beginning. And so, yes, we are in dark times. Yes, there's more working against us than there is working for us. But the thing about it is simple. The fact that you choose every time we get kicked down, every time we get the boot on our neck, every time we get the boot in our ass, and every time they tell us that we're being selfish, every time they tell us that, pick your poison. When the boot is on our neck or on our shoulder or on our ass, we still choose to get back up. And the thing that makes us different is, unlike the people who push us down, when we find the courage, strength, and stamina to get back up, we turn around, we reach out our hand, and we help the next person. It looks like my TikTok warning has expired, but I do have to go. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you here on what was actually breaking news. I want to say thank you to the moderators to keep this space safe. I do want to make sure that you are please following us on one of your favorite podcast platforms. It's becoming clearer and clearer every day that there is a massive attempt to silence anyone who does not agree with this American fascism. So we have to find each other wherever we are. This has been the Ignition News. It is March 5th, 2026. We are here. I can't top what I said earlier. You guys have a good day. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Sometimes you just got to let it go, you know? Good stuff. Substack, let's go. I don't know. Substack never wants to shut down.